Hello, good day. Yes, thank you very much for calling us in today. We know that you have also wanted to connect in with us. And so, this is a general conversation that we're going to have, and we do invite you to connect us back together with us because we have so much more to share with you. This may be a private matter that which does not need to be aired. So, there is food for thought for you there. We do have important information to share with you privately, and we know that you have called us in for another topic, so we will continue on. The reason why you are curious about why you feel embarrassed about talking about sex, asking about sex and sexuality, and the experiences of sex with your client previously, who was curious about the new earth. Um, is not because you have any sexual blocks. There was a vow of chastity that was on you from a previous lifetime, not on earth as such, but this was one that you placed on yourself to be able to be diligent enough to not be distracted with your surroundings, to be able to be focused on the task at hand. And so that is also for another time for the conversation. However, in general, for humanity, the reason why, for some people, sexuality is seen as taboo is because it is being part of your disconnect. The hidden agendas, of which you have many on this current earth, is part of the controlling systems to be able to disconnect you with selves, disconnect you from us, and disconnect you from others. Therefore, the control and manipulation to make sexuality a taboo, to make it naughty, to make it only to control it. Religion, for example, is a classic example of how you have been led to believe you must surrender only to one partner forever, and that is the end. Uh, you are not naturally designed for this. You are really quite free flowing. You're going back to, say, caveman times, shall we say, for this example. There was no real commitment to one person. Of course, you could have companionships that would last longer, but there was a more free loving society, shall we say. So, if you lived in a tribe, in a community, it was whoever took your fancy that evening kind of thing. So, it was about free love, and the men like to get their free love. They're designed to get their free love to everyone who is willing and able, because that's what they're designed to do, to seed the planet. Whereas the females are sort of designed to be a little bit more sort of cautious with whoever they lay with, thinking that if they would provide for the opportunity to grow the seed, to produce a child, they would want the best, strongest provider to be able to help them and their child. And of course, this is still back into what we're referring to as kind of like caveman like type in situations. Moving forward to today, you are still sort of trained to look for and to be attracted to someone who is ultimately a good provider for you and your children. These are for the females we are speaking to. And just likewise for the men, they are naturally, biologically seeking someone who would be a good provider, a good nurturer for their children. So this is your biological settings, is to be like this, without generalizing it too much. This is what we want to say to you now. So moving forward to the actual experience of sex, originally it was very powerful, very intimate. It was quite spiritual almost. Actually, 100% yes, spiritual, because it would be connecting to your senses more than just your hearing, more than just your sight. And so this was quite a ritual, a very beautiful, divine, powerful ritual between two people, and that connection between each other was very powerful, very potent, and quite spectacular. Um, when done with the right intentions and integrity. And so this has been part of breaking down humanity's connection with each other, and uh, having the monogamous relationship can be monotonous. And so this is, removing you from your communities as such, bringing you into your individual homes where you're not living sort of together in a tight knit community. This has all been to help, and we say this with love, dumb down and dilute men. And this is why religion has been part of this, to make sex taboo, and to, it is not about pleasing God. Yeah, as you know, um, God is wanting you to love and wanting you to be connected, and wanting you to experience euphoria on this planet. So you would not be offending us if you were having fun, by any stretch of the imagination. But however you feel, whether you have a healthy attitude to sex or whether you have something in the middle, it's still not as it's not as taken as the rituals and the divinely connection that it once sort of was. Um, and we're trying to show Joanne it is more like a sacred dance with each other, and even a special sacred dance that you do with yourself. This is self pleasuring oneself is quite natural, and is exploring. Oh gosh, this is making Joanne feel very uncomfortable talking about this now, because she's almost a prude. We say this with much love, and she is thinking, oh my gosh, I'm never going to share this video. But this is about how sex has been um, not really nurtured in a healthy way, and it has got taboo to it. Just like how Joanne has been focusing on the taboo with death, and she's wanting to demystify the purpose of life and to show that there is life after death. This has been a project for her because she understands the power. Of grief can be so overwhelming. So she wants to protect everyone from that experience of grief by showing them the bigger picture of the fact that we never die, it's just moving vehicles. And you've already heard all this before, so we will not go into more details with that. So while she's been focusing on shedding the truth of death and reincarnation, she has actually not been aware of other forms and other controls that have been happening on your lives to disconnect you. And sex has been one big thing that has been used against you. This is why you're all going to experience some incredible experiences on the new earth while you're so connected profoundly to each other and to yourselves. This is a very heightened sense when you're on the new earth. It is truly incredible for you to be able to come from here to then to arrive there and start experiencing that. It is so much more senses. While you're very comfortable with the senses that you've got now, because you've been controlled so much to believe in certain things and to approach things in certain manners, it is a very limited, unfortunately, we say to you. However, you are probably suspecting this as well. So it is a lot to process. We are very aware that there are some very healthy sexual appetites that are listening to us now, and that is fantastic. And we say, well done to you. This pleases us a lot, and we're not trying to say that in a creepy way. We do not watch you as you are pleasuring yourselves and each other. We just know that there are some listeners here who have got very healthy sexual appetites, and this is wonderful. We do not judge. We are congratulating you, and we know you're in for a fantastic time on the new earth because you're so open to it. But unfortunately, some people like Joanne, shall we say, that sort of shy from that experience so much because the connection with humanity. We have stopped talking about Joanna now. She has refused to be part of this conversation with us anymore, and she has said we cannot use her as an example. So we will say there are people that are disconnected from others and disconnected from themselves. And this is a shame, but this is not a bad thing. This is completely reasonable considering what you're living in and what society has been telling you and teaching you. And this is another way for you to stop and think truly about your own bodies, knowing that you are fully in control of your own bodies. And so, whoever you want to be and do, you are more than welcome to do that, knowing that you're not going to hell, and you certainly will not be displeasing anyone else. Yeah, this is your responsibility to please you. And so, however you want to do that, with responsibility, of course, we don't condone forcing oneself on another. That would be taking away someone's free will. And so, do not confuse what we're trying to say with you as anything else, but being responsible for yourself and pleasing yourself without affecting others and forcing oneself. So we think we have made ourselves clear here. We just suddenly realized what you could be thinking we are implying, and that's certainly not the case, and that would never be the case, and that would not be something we would ever agree upon. However, in saying this, you have some people have had life contracts where they have wanted to have this control being taken from them. This is the sexual abuse that has rapidly occurred. Part of this has been your free will taken from you, and part of this is an experience you wanted to experience for a whole, to be vulnerable, to learn how to overcome someone invading your personal space, to be able to show you have not produced boundaries, to be able to let you overcome certain emotions and to process that, and to be able to learn how to forgive yourself, and yeah, there's a lot of experiences, a lot of growth in such a horrific emotional experience like that. And we are sorry for the people who are still struggling with such events that have happened in their lives. We send you and offer you lots of healing now to yourself, to the perpetrator, and for the situation. Understanding what the lessons could have been from that is always going to be your key to navigate the emotions forward. And so we know now we have just jumped into a very sacred topic because we are sensing someone very triggered by this. Oh, so we will unpack this for you because we do not want to leave you with this triggered emotion. Where you normally come from, where your other higher selves live, and where your subconscious is residing, there is no such experience where you have been invaded like that. You are invaded by each other constantly all the time through your Facebook media, social media, through your mainstream media, through walking into a mall or a supermarket. Other people do invade your space all the time. While the sexual evasion is quite a big jump, leap in the degree of offensiveness. The sexual violations very traumatic, and there is lessons there for both parties. The party that has done the violations, regardless of whether they want to admit it or not, they know they've got guilt. And for majority of people, when they have done something bad to someone like that, they assume they're going to hell, or something really bad is going to happen to them. So they open themselves up to a lot of negative emotions of guilt. Um, Even the most stubborn person who does not want to take accountability for any of their actions, their conscious knows, their subconscious knows, their higher self knows. So when you are taking over someone's free will to be aggressive to someone sexually and to please yourself for power and dominance, it's not often about the sex. It's literally about trying to have control over something that you may not normally have control over in your lives. So there is a whole lot of reasons why people are persuaded or pushed into being, we want to say a sexual monster, but it's not like that at all. We're not trying to judge, but we're painting the picture of someone who is not socially responsible and not socially wanting to be included into their social behaviors of the society. They are, we're not wording this properly because Joanne's feeling very uncomfortable with this conversation. We're trying to show people the bigger picture of both sides of why there is sexual abuse. Um, it could be someone was abused as a child or other prior time, and so they are trying to take their control back. It's not an excuse. You can't heal a cycle by repeating a cycle. So this is someone failing at trying to heal themselves. And if you are trying to control a situation, it is quite possible that you have been out of control in another situation which is impacting you. Does it excuse the behavior? Absolutely not. Do they learn from it? We would hope so. But this is a journey where people must learn and grow from. We have connected you with the Jeffrey Epstein, and we have shown you how much he's in his personal hell right now because he is still experiencing all of the pain he has caused other people by his sexual prowess. He was a deviant and he was very manipulative and very narcissist with his desires, and he is paying the price of that now because he is having to experience what he did to his victims, and those lower emotions that and trauma that he caused is very challenging for him, because he never considered anyone else's feelings apart from his own. And so we will use this as a good case because we want to take it away. We want to take our attention away from the person who has been triggered by our conversation. And we also know that this conversation is very uncomfortable for Joanne. And so, while Jeffrey Epstein was not prosecuted, or he was prosecuted, he was in, he had many court cases for his sexual assaults on women, while they still needed to get over the trauma that they had experienced, and get their power back, and be able to learn how they can overcome such a tragedy that happened to them. Those life lessons were experiences that they will grow from, and the punishment that he is now experiencing, that he is putting on himself, is there's shall we say, justice is being served, even though it is different from what you would expect justice to be. And so For the victims of sexual abuse, regardless of whether it's inappropriate whistle or comment or physical assault, these happen to both genders, these happen to all ages, and this is potentially something that you have wanted to experience, which I know is hard for people to understand. Why on earth would anyone want to experience that? And it's because you're adding another challenge into your life. Uh, Coming to Earth to experience nothing, to experience no challenges, to just be, uh, again, we want to say, going to Disneyland and not experiencing any of the rides. You are wanting to fill your dance card, shall we say, with all of the experiences. You want to explore everything you possibly can, and overcome it. It's the overcoming of tragedy, trauma, events is what you want, is what's the whole purpose of everything is. How you bounce back, how you can release the trauma and the lower emotions and the impact of it and build yourself up to strengthen yourselves. That is truly part of why you want to experience the challenges, is the growth or the strength that you learn to bounce back, to stand back and grow and continue on. Some people get stuck in the drama of it, unfortunately. This is not judgment. It is very traumatic. But if you get fed, if you, people get stuck in trauma and drama. We are saying drama. It's not a negative. It is a state of being. If you have something that gives you payment, if it's attention, if you are needing attention and you have had something happen to you that has given you attention, you will want to hold on to that. It does not serve you by any bit of the imagination, but it serves you in the getting attention. So therefore, it does serve you. Therefore, you may not want to release it. This is hard because we know someone's triggered here, and we are so sorry. We want to help release this from you. Uh, Holding on to something that no longer serves you because you get attention from it is probably not doing you very good. Releasing all of the drama and all of the attention seeking ways that you may have in your life is something that's really going to be beneficial for you. Because you're stronger than anything that's ever happened to you. And so it is time for you to empower yourself and stop being a victim of any type. You are not a victim. None of you are victims. Everything here has been what you have signed up for. You have your spiritual team to protect you and to keep your free will intact. And while there has been absolutely some people that have taken others free will, it still would never destroy you. You are such a multidimensional super being that while it affects you in this situation, it is never designed to completely destroy you. We literally want to remind you of your human saying, whatever doesn't break you makes you stronger. And we agree. We agree. We agree. And so while we feel sorry for and apologize to the people who we have triggered today, it wasn't our intention, nor will it ever be our intention to trigger you. It is to simply try and give you the bigger picture, the bigger perspective of why these horrible things happen to you. Everyone has had something terrible happen to them, not just once, probably half a dozen, if not 100 times. Life is very challenging and can be when you don't see the lessons, when you don't grow, when you don't learn boundaries, when you don't strengthen yourself, when you don't learn. And so we encourage you to all learn your lessons and experiences. And yeah, we can't talk enough about releasing yourself from trauma. It really doesn't serve you. It was a lesson. Think of this like this. Think of your trauma as going to a movie, experiencing it, witnessing it, seeing it, and now you're all leaving the theatre. leaving the trauma behind you. You have seen it, you know the story of it, now you're leaving it behind. It no longer serves you. Do not carry that movie around with you in your pocket. It no longer needs to be there. The movie has finished. And so, however, and whatever analogy we need to say to you to be able to help you release the trauma that you may be still holding on to you, please let us take that now, because it does not serve you and it is holding you back. Oh, there is so much here that we have accidentally stumbled upon, considering we wanted to just talk about how healthy sexual connections actually bring humanity together, bring connections to humans together. And this is really what is very special and sacred to you. It is the connection of others, and it's very powerful. Your energetic fields merging together is supercharging you. And so we say also that if you are connecting with someone energetic levels and fields, you may be also exposing yourself to their negative, lower energy vibrations. So while you all look seemingly to be perfect, normal human beings, you have some higher vibrational people that are just jazzy, shall we say, and then we have some other perfectly looking normal human beings that have got a lot of emotional trauma that they are holding on to, which is lowering their vibration. So when you are connecting with them, and even an ordinary conversation, and then also when you're having a sexual relationship with them, you're literally merging your energetic field in with theirs. And so you can see why as and how that affects you if you're merging your energies together. That does rub off on you. And so it is hard. It is a much more complex thing than why is Joanne embarrassed about talking about sex. There is big conversations to have here, and we are sorry we distracted you all with trying to not justify, but try to give you the bigger picture and perspective of sexual sexual what is the word we want to say without triggering people, because we do not want to make light of this uh, sexual misconduct of each other's situations pertaining to an experience that has produced trauma. And again, we are sorry. We did not mean to trigger you who was triggered. And we say this with much love. And maybe also there is something that has come from the past that you thought you had dealt with. And so we would like to offer to heal this for you today, and to hold the trauma and to be able to show the trauma to you in a way that can heal you, if you're still holding on to it. Uh, in terms of people using traumatic things from their lives to get attention, this is more for people who are holding on to sicknesses. So please don't think that we're trying to say that people who have been raped or sexually abused are holding on to that for attention. It's really very rare for that. People who like attention and who keep holding on to things for attention, it's usually stuff that they've done to themselves, really. So think of people who are constantly sending photos of themselves being sick or talking about being sick as if they're a victim to it. So they're feeling very pitiful about themselves. So they are getting the attention from others with the well wishing. And that is fine. You can still care about each other, but it's those constant friends and constant people who are using their sicknesses to force people to give them attention. There is so much we feel like we're nitpicking here with people's emotions and behavior, and we are not trying to do this. And this is just giving, we are just talking and sharing our perspective of things while we understand we've literally walked into a minefield of triggering points for people. We're not trying to do so. So we again are apologizing for this. We feel like we should bring some other positive conversation into the mix to lighten the mood. And all we can think about is explaining why some people have to control situations. And this is a safety net for them. This is a default system that they have brought upon themselves because they were once out of control so profoundly it scared them. And maybe multiple times they have been out of control for whatever situation and reason. So they are now over controlled in situations. There are some people who like to control the situation for nothing else but entertainment, to show that they are the dominant person, to control the situation, to yeah, to get the other person's attention. And it's all uh, it is all fine. You're all learning balances, and you have all been a victim in to some degree, and you also have been the person that has actually hurt other people as well. Are you horrible people? Absolutely not. We love you and we see all good in you. You have all had pasts. You have had fantastic days where you have shone the light and been a beautiful role model and example of what humanity should be. And also, you've had some days where you have not been such a shining bright light. That is normal. Again, there is no judgment, there is no good or bad. It is experiences. And we want to remind you how fantastic it was feeling when you were having songs in your heart and a smile on your face and just a skip in your walk, where you felt that everything in the world was right and perfect and just in balance and in harmony. And you can do that whenever you want. You are powerful and you are control of your body and your minds. And we would like to remind you of the times where things have felt very alone and very dark and very sad and very destitute. And those, again, are from your free will of your choices. While you feel like other people have got control of your lives, you're truly free. And regardless of whether you were actually physically in a prison, you can go within your mind and you're always free to explore within, and nothing is going to hold you back, and nothing is really truly a prison for you. You keep your sometimes your mind is keeping you in a prison. So you are very powerful with your minds. Be very powerful of your thoughts. Be very careful and very mindful of your thoughts, because you could be limiting yourself and things that no longer serve you. And so be positive, have a positive attitude. You're not a victim to anything apart from yourselves. Oh, Joanne feels like she needs to listen to this before she posts this because she feels that this is so controversial. So we leave you with this because Joanne is concerned, but we say this with much love. And we hope that you can have the bigger perspective to listen to this and get triggered if you may, but be able to see things from the bigger perspective and understand what we're trying to say to you. And we say this with much love for anything that comes up to you now and in the near future. This is all about overcoming the emotions and staying balanced. And we say this with much love.